Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Enrique, aka the Aries Gamer. Welcome to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, and this is our weekly Tuesday night podcast. And I'm joined again by my two special guests of the evening, Eric Jackson, senior writer for EXL Gaming. Eric, how are you doing today, man?
I'm I'm doing great, man. How you doing tonight?
I can't complain, man. It's Tuesday, and we get to talk video games tonight and talk about some of the latest gaming news and hot buttons in the industry right now. So I'm excited, man.
Lots of those.
oh yeah, lots of those, man, lots of those, and I'm always excited to do the podcast and just shoot the shit with you guys. So thank you again, Eric, for joining me. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And we are joined again by somebody I've known for a very long time. And I always like to bring up this story because we met on the Xbox Live beta, had some memorable 2K football, ESPN football games on Xbox Live. I wonder sometimes if you were cheating the Lemieux, like unplugging your router. But but without further ado, Lemieux
Um,
66, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here again with you, gentlemen. And between me using the Steelers and my skills on the sticks, I don't need to
Oh my
cheat.
gosh, man! All right, well, we'll leave it
there
at
it
that.
is.
We'll agree to disagree.
There it is. He laid it out.
He did. He did lay it out. Oh, I'm telling you, Eric. We used to have some. We used to have some games on Xbox Live on 2K that just it went down. Literally went down to like seconds in the fourth quarter.
Yep, Tommy Maddox, the Plexico
Yeah,
Burris, that was the all-time classic.
that happened 12 years ago, and I still remember that. That's how crazy it is. I still remember that. That
Beautiful,
that
beautiful.
2 seconds left in the game, you throw that 80-yard touchdown bomb to Plex Burris, and I was done. That was it. Game over. It was
Plexico
embarrassing.
Burris, man.
Yeah, that guy was an idiot.
Yeah.
Shot himself in a club. What do you have? He shoot himself in the club?
Yeah, he took a gun into a strip club and he had it in his sweatpants and sat on it or something like that and shot himself in the thigh.
Nice, nice. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, but one of the things I wanted to talk about really quickly was, and I kind of like starting the podcast off with this is what video games we're currently playing right now. So, Lemieux, why don't we start with you, man? Why don't you kind of give us a rundown of some of the games you're playing right now?
I am currently playing Street Fighter V. For what it is, it's pretty bare bones, but the fighting is very good, of course. Unless you're trying to play online, then it's pretty horrifying.
Oh boy,
I'm also playing little NHL 16. I'm continuing my season mode, and I'm playing Star Wars Battlefront and a little bit of Fallout 4.
gotcha. Hey, with Street Fighter Five, they now I know the servers went down yesterday for a little bit for maintenance. Are they everything's back up now?
I haven't tried online today, but I've tried 3 times in the past 2 or 3 days, and it hasn't worked at all.
Oh wow,
Mm.
man, that
Pretty
sucks.
pretty bad.
Yeah,
So
that
no
sucks.
official word yet if it's back. They're still doing the maintenance, huh?
I haven't seen any. I actually, truthfully, guys, haven't been following their. I know they had a Twitter account with an update on their servers, but I haven't checked to be honest with you.
Mm.
I stopped checking. Last I heard was that it went down, but I think they're back up again. I feel like I heard someone talking about that on Twitter last night that they did come back eventually. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Eric? What are you playing right now, man?
Let's see. Well, right now, I'm actually still playing Gravity Rush Remastered.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished up a review of Electronic Superjoy, which I did a review for EXL. That's posted right now on the website. Really, really fun game. And I'm actually about to jump into Fire Emblem Fates on 3DS.
Nice, nice. Let me know if let me. I'm sorry, Eric. For viewers that are listening right now, if they want to
Hmm.
check out the review, can you drop the your website address?
Oh, yes, exlgaming.com.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, I just finished Firewatch, and we'll chat about that for a little bit. We won't give away any spoilers because I know Lemieux you haven't played it yet, and I'm sure some of our other viewers haven't played it yet either. So I just wrapped that up. Playing Rocket League right now. Um, Also playing. I'm still trying to get through Life is Strange, and I
Damn,
started
I gotta get
playing.
back on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time you mention it, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I do have to play that again, don't I? I have to get back on
Yeah.
that.
Well, last week Worry was just glowing about it. I mean, he said it's one
Mm-hmm.
of the best games he's played, this year. So, I'm slowly chipping away at that game, and I'm also playing. I started dabbling with Destiny again for some reason. Don't ask me why. I just kind of went back to it a little bit,
Mm.
and played a little bit of the Division beta this past weekend. Actually, played a little bit of the PlayStation 4 beta and the Xbox One beta, but um, didn't really spend too much time because I just felt like I spent so much time last time, and I know there were new missions out. I just really didn't want to get back into it. I think I was just focused on try to beat Firewatch. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's it for me right now, and I'm trying not to buy any more games, and that seems to be an issue for me right now because I'm going to get backlogged. Like I'm going to have so many games, and we've talked about this many podcasts ago. All these games are coming out. Not a bad problem to have. April's going to be a
Hmm.
crazy month for everyone. With Quantum Break, Uncharted 4, Ratchet and Clank, and Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, and life, like I said, life stops when those two games, Quantum Break and Uncharted, come out.
Oh yeah,
That's it. Everything else gets dropped.
and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to juggle both. I'm probably going to spend a little more time. You know what? Not probably. I'm going to spend more time on Quantum Break because it's the newer IP
Hmm.
and it's a Remedy game, and Remedy hasn't put anything out in a little while, and so I'm really looking forward to this new IP. So I'll probably be
Yeah,
spending a little more time on that.
I'm probably gonna take the day off for it. Every now and again, there's that game that kind of comes. I'll do that.
Nice.
Nice.
Just so I can kind of sit, not be bothered. You know,
Hell yeah.
turn the phone off and just chill.
You know, Eric,
That
man.
looks like a game that's worth it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
That's
Nothing wrong.
sometimes the only way that you can do it, man. When you got everything else going on.
Do either of you
So
guys know how many hours the story mode first playthrough is on Quantum Break? I haven't heard.
no, I don't know anything about how long the campaign is going to be.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid all media for that one.
Pretty much, and that's kind of
Yeah,
hard. I have to keep up with news, but you try to stay on blackout as much as possible.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. You do your best, you know. Um, let's go back to Street Fighter Five a little bit, Eric, because you shared something interesting with me. I think it was this past weekend
Hmm.
with that game, and so why don't you tell our viewers what you did and what's kind of transpired since you bought the game.
Yeah, well, I'll just say I picked up the game. I was kind of ready to rock on it. Hadn't played a Street Fighter game since Street Fighter 4 because or actually Ultra. I picked up Ultra. That was the one I was playing the most. And I think, like I said, I kind of stopped playing that and jumped over to Marvel vs. Capcom. So I was really hyped and really ready to play Street Fighter 5. So as the game came out and it started running into issues, I kind of sat back and said, for the amount of time that I have to play anything, I don't really have time, to wait for these things to iron themselves out. So simply, I said, I'll take a shot. And I contacted Sony customer service and asked for a refund,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and knowing, it's a digital copy and knowing that they don't, it's in the policy not to give a refund on a digital copy. And they didn't have a problem with it. Well, they asked me what the reason was, and I told them, I said, well, it's basically because the game's not really ready. They're having issues with the servers, and it's broken right now. And then on top of that, it's a little light on content. And again, this isn't like a dig at anyone who is enjoying it. It was just my own personal within my bubble. Realizing the time I have to play, and I said I'll come back to it when it's actually fleshed out and a more full game. So when he asked me the reason, I let him know, and he said I can completely understand, your issue, and it's typically not in, our not typically something that we do, giving a refund, but in this instance, we'll give a good faith refund, and we'll take care of that for you. So
Good for them. I'm glad they did that.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, I wasn't expecting it, but it was really surprising.
Yeah, that's awesome. They did that for you, man. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bell and I were in the live chat yesterday for last night for TXR, and we brought this up that we knew somebody who got a refund for Street Fighter Five, and I don't know, maybe a couple of the folks that were in there. I'm assuming these guys that were in there were they were trolling, so they're probably just trolls. And one guy was like, "You guys are lying. They don't do that. There's no way that happened. You guys are making that up." And we were like, Bella was like, "No, actually, I know someone that in fact did get a refund." And I don't know, these maybe they were a little salty about it, but I don't think anybody would make that up. And I don't think there's look, if they're offering refunds for a game that you feel isn't complete, there's nothing wrong with that. People shouldn't get like salty about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's there to get salty about? It's like, and you know what it is? It's just because you hear the stories of, well, someone got hacked by Sony and someone spent so much on their account and Sony basically told them to F off with it,
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, those, yeah, maybe those stories happen, but you don't usually hear the stories where something positive may happen. Like I said, I got no pushback. The guy totally understood, or girl, whoever I spoke to, was over the chat. And it's legit, like straight up. They told me it'll be 3 to 5 days. And sure enough, the other day I got an email that said the refund is going to come through.
Yeah.
So, hey, I don't know why salt would be flowing from that.
Yeah,
it says in the chat.
The salt was flowing yesterday, absolutely. And they were calling us liars, and these guys were obviously just trolling the TXR podcast, and it was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But, there's no reason for people to get salty about it. And by the way, guys, just to go to the chat real quick, I want to give a shout out to Bella Rise. Bella's joined us again this evening. She was on our podcast last Thursday. And so, Bella, what's up? Quick shout out to you. We also have Digital Falcon, who's here. What's up, Digital? And Slap Happy Gamer has joined us as well. Big shout out to Slap Happy as well. And but Eric, that's part of the problem, and this is good. This is actually a good segue into one of the things we're going to talk about. Is the video game industry broken? And are gamers partially responsible for kind of putting up with a lot of the shit that comes out? And to your point, Eric, some of these gamers got salty when we brought up the idea that, hey, we know someone who got a refund for Street Fighter V because they didn't feel that the game was worth $60. And look, no one is saying the Street Fighter series is terrible. I mean, I don't think that it's a terrible series or terrible franchise. From what it sounds like, I just don't think that this particular version or iteration of Street Fighter is worth $60.
Right.
If I'm keeping it real, right? I mean,
right. And it's interesting that you said that, because I was telling Bella about the refund, and she was teasing me, and she said, you're why you being a hater? I was like, no, I'm not being a hater. I said, part of that reason is, for me, like I said, it's not cool, because I want this game to be everything it can be, because again, when I'm going to spend time on a game for the short amount of time that I have, I want to feel like the whole game is there.
Exactly.
Again, it's not a knock on Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter. I'm hoping that they get it all together. Once the rest of the content is there, then I'll revisit it. But at this time, in the present, it wasn't for me. And if they would have said, no, we can't give the refund, then so be it. I took the shot,
Yeah.
But ultimately, going back to what you said, a part of that was, no, I don't really want to support a scenario where a game is coming out and kind of being like that. And that's any game. Like, I didn't pick up Assassin's Creed Unity, same reason. I'm like, that's unacceptable. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall with that one when they didn't release the reviews until 12 hours after the game was out.
Yeah, that was pretty shady.
Yeah, that was really shady.
Yeah, Lemieux, what are your thoughts, man? Because you own the game. What do you feel about this? Do you feel like it's worth $60, or are you kind of on the same fence, or agree with Eric?
Well, in the case of Street Fighter, I actually don't own it. I GameFlyed it, and thank God I did.
Okay,
But one of the games I did own that was horrible at launch, and for almost a year after launch, was the Halo: The Master Chief Collection, and I bought that. I bought a digital version of that game, and for the longest time, it didn't work. I mean, I could play campaign, which I did, because online was a complete disaster. And gamers bitch and complain, but gamers also are always opening their wallets. Um, I believe truly that we enable these big multi-million-dollar companies to get away with this shit. I mean, good on Eric for reaching out and getting his refund. But most people, A, they're not going to do that, and B, even if they want to do that, they're probably going to realize it's a digital purchase. I'm screwed because of the terms of service.
Yeah.
But this just keeps happening. It happens with every single game, and the fact that we expect it to happen, yeah, that's the truly sad part.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Lemieux, that we expect it. We expect it and we've accepted it too.
Yes.
And so, guys, so Digital Falcon and Bella brought up that keep in mind. Well, Digital Falcon said keep in mind Capcom did tell us the game, what the game was going to be at launch, and Bella also mentioned that they let us know prior to the purchase that we would only get half the content and the other half in March. But is that? I mean, do you feel like even if you get half the content in March, that's still acceptable? It's to pay $60 to get half and then get the other half later?
Well, look, Digital Falcon brings up a great point. If you know what you're going to get into, that's fine. If you're saying, okay, well, I'm ready, I'm willing, I'm ready to co-sign on that. Part of that for me is, I didn't really look at all of it, to say, okay, well, this part. The servers were broken, so I was kind of like, well, I can't really play it now anyway. I'm not going to spend the time with it. I don't want to just see it sitting there, on my PlayStation not being played. And like I said, I'll come back to it once it's fleshed out, and more power to the people who are willing to keep going and work and wait for that to happen. Like I said, it's not like I'm not going to play Street Fighter. It's just at this moment I wasn't, into it.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely, like you're saying in the chat, and like I just, responded to, we knew that partial content was going to be there and the other part was going to come later, but not the servers.
Yeah,
and you had beta test on top of beta test on top of beta test, and you're still working on the servers.
And that's a concern for me. I mean, I was thinking about picking up this game, and I'm not going to do it because the servers are an issue, and it's unfortunate that Capcom couldn't kind of right the ship even after the betas. I mean, clearly they're having server issues, and perhaps it's a money issue with them. Bella mentioned that Capcom was in trouble, and they needed money to be able to finish development, so they gave us what they had, and told us that was what we were getting, and then took the money to complete development. And but I mean, is that fair to gamers to put out a half completed? And I understand the argument that, look, if you accept it and you're okay with it, then hey, that's on you, But is that a dangerous precedent to set? To send the message to developers, hey, you may not have the money or the budget to finish this game. You're telling us up front what we're going to get. We'll buy it, and then you can kind of make good on the other half of the game later on. I mean, is that a slippery slope?
Yeah, it's dangerous for a few reasons. The main reason is because not everybody follows the gaming industry like we do. A lot of people see a game on the shelf and they're like, "Oh my God, Street Fighter V! I haven't played Street Fighter in so many years." And
Right.
they go and buy it, not following Capcom on Twitter, not listening to podcasts, and they go home and they're like, "What the hell? What is this shit?" That's just unacceptable.
Yeah, that's a good point, Lemieux. There's certainly, and I think sometimes we forget that we're kind of in this bubble. I mean, look, we're on YouTube right now, broadcasting live, talking about video games, right? Most people I know who play video games, most of my friends don't follow video games the way I do.
Right.
And so that's a good point, Lemieux. There's a demographic or a group of gamers, casuals, we can call them, that probably aren't up to speed with what's going on with regards to Capcom announcing what this game was going to entail at launch and what they were going to get later on. And yeah, and they're probably upset. They're probably thinking, well, what the hell? Why am I getting this amount of content? But if we are getting and if we are getting half the content we're supposed to get, is $60 a fair price, or should they have charged us maybe half of that?
Yeah, they should call it, early access, like you can get on Steam or like on Xbox One now these days. Make it $30 for the early adopters, just basically they're paying to beta test the game for you, since the original beta tests apparently didn't do anything.
Yeah, that could have been a pretty good like test of kind of way to go about that. You say, okay, well, this portion of the game is going to be 30 or whatever the case may be, and then later on we're going to add arcade, and we're going to add the story mode, and we're going to add all these different modes, and that'll be another, like a season pass $30 type thing or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, because I mean, look, I follow games on a daily basis. That's a part of what we do at EXL. It's a part of my life and everything. And even I kind of just assumed that, being that it's Street Fighter, that there would be an arcade mode.
Yeah, me too.
Like that was always a part of it. And now to hear them say in the news, well, we're thinking it over. We might do an arcade mode. We're thinking about it.
How can they say? I'm sorry, Ed, I don't mean to interrupt you, but how can you? It's Street Fighter 5. How can you say you might have an arcade mode? I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like you said, you would expect that, right?
Right, and again, so if I'm kind of on that border of not knowing everything that was going to go into it, I know there are people who are completely anticipating this game. This is the jam. This is what they were looking for, so they know every in and out of it. For me, like I said, I assumed our arcade mode would be there, so that wasn't there. I knew they were going to add, extra characters later and possibly a story mode later. So I was like, okay, I can kind of get with that. I get, suppose, because what they said something that really, stood out to me. They said you can unlock the characters just by playing the game. I'm like, oh, that's old school. That's how it's always been.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to pay for them. I was like, oh, okay, that's an option. But I didn't know it was going to have like arcade and that stuff, and it was basically just going to be training room and online. And I know a big part of that is they wanted it to be ready and in place to try to have it ready for EVO, but that still doesn't excuse it. Because even as it stands now, their servers are busted as hell.
That's a great point. You mentioned EVO, that they wanted to bring this game to EVO. That's a really good point. And I don't remember. I heard this week that I think they've had the highest registrations for EVO.
Mm-hmm.
And so that that was a compelling reason for them to push this. But
that's even more of a slippery slope then, if you're doing this just to try to get in place for something else. Because I mean, you have other fighting games that people are definitely all about when they go to EVO.
Yeah. Hey guys, Bella just asked a great question in the live chat. Which was the bigger fail, Master Chief Collection or Street Fighter 5?
Oh.
I'm going to say Street Fighter. Well, shit, that's tough for me, and I'll tell you why. Street Fighter 5, maybe because it didn't have any other. Well, I don't know. See, what do you guys think? Let me think about this real quick.
Even no, right now they're kind of even, but I'm just going to go out and say Master Chief Collection.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also going to say Master Chief Collection.
Because we've been there before.
Yeah,
and if you're going to say Microsoft has the servers, Microsoft has this, Microsoft has that, and I know somebody I know, we've had this debate before, and they said, well, it wasn't, the online component was handed off to another, to someone else, like another studio to handle, and I'm like, that's even worse, because that's a quality control thing.
Yeah, and that's a great point.
And Halo's known for its multiplayer. You cannot have that come out broken. That's a bad look.
That's not Eric. You're right. That's not a good look at all.
So, and I know whatever you want to call me, whatever. I know that's not the popular opinion, but hey, you asked, or Bella asked, so.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's obviously it's not about popular or console wars or anything like that. I think it's a matter of fact type thing. Clearly those games had issues.
Right.
And I guess for me, go ahead, Eric.
No, I'm sorry. Now, Bella brought up an excellent point just now, and she said at least you have 4 campaigns you could play. Absolutely. So that was for me. I wasn't as hot about Master Chief Collection not, the multiplayer part not really working, because I was more intrigued by playing the single player campaigns anyway. So that was just, again, me and my bubble. That's how I felt about it. But it was, I know people were pissed, and what made that worse is how long it took to get it right. It wasn't like, I mean, for right now, at least Street Fighter's still within its week of release. Master Chief was going on for months.
Yeah, that's true. That's why it was hard for me to kind of say which one do I think was to answer Bella's question, which was the biggest failure, because while like the online component of Master Chief Collection had some issue, there were still some other things you could do with it, right? You could still play with it. There was maybe a little more meat to it,
Right.
but still, like you said, the expectation of the Master Chief Collection and what was and how it was marketed was you were going to get all these. You were going to be able to play all the old school Halos online. It was going to be this seamless experience, and that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go
So
ahead.
let
You
me,
know what, guys? I'm going to go ahead and say it was a tie.
That's fair.
Yeah, I want to be fair about this, but guys, this is I don't think it's just a developer issue too. And as we talked about Master Chief Collection, you guys remember the reviews, right?
for Master
Yes.
Chief Collection, yeah.
Yes, and so obviously a lot of these reviews were pushed out when the embargo was lifted, and so we didn't really, or a lot of reviewers didn't really get a chance to um, really test the game out after it was released.
Well, I'm gonna say this, in the interest of console war or whatever. IGN gave it what, a 9.5.
Yes.
Nobody was mad.
Well, and this is the issue. And look, guys, this isn't is for people who are listening to this. This isn't a console wars thing or a Sony Xbox thing. This is a
No, no,
gaming
definitely
industry.
not.
Yeah, this is a gaming industry thing, and this is one thing that I wanted to talk about tonight too, and why we're talking about Street Fighter V and why we just started talking about Master Chief Collection. And I want to ask you guys something too. I mean, is the gaming industry broken? Are reviews broken? There was a great article written last week in Forbes, and it's funny. Warrior was talking about how he kind of stays away from like traditional gaming media sites,
Mm-hmm.
and I've kind of found myself doing the same. And I think Forbes has some great articles on the gaming industry too. And Warrior actually posted something today, Eric, that you shared with me that we're going to talk about in a sec too. That I think came from a smaller site that brought up some great points about some of the issues that are um, that gamers are facing. And so the article is written by Jason Evangelo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right. And I don't know if any of you guys saw this article, but what he was talking about was how game reviews are broken and how if he like what he's talking about Street Fighter Five. And this actually what prompted him writing this article is really Street Fighter Five and how he was saying it. Street Fighter Five is utterly broken. People are understandably upset, but he was saying part of the issue is that the game reviewers, the media, they're not playing these games after launch. Especially they're not really testing. They're really not testing the online component of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of getting a preview of the game in some sense, without really getting kind of the real world experience that you and I are going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that matters. I think if you're going to review a game, especially a game with an online component, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should probably do so. I would imagine. Look, I don't claim to be the expert in reviewing games. I may have done a few reviews back in the days. They weren't great.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something, Eric. I have a great appreciation for you guys doing game reviews. It's not easy. It's not easy.
No, no, it's not.
But what I would guess is with a game like a Street Fighter V or a Halo Master Chief Collection, that the reviewers would actually take into consideration or try to review the game that has the online component piece to it. They would do so in a real world setting in a way that their readers are going to experience it, not in the way they're experiencing it. And we saw that with Master Chief Collection. It was like, remember they reviewed it. It was great. You could connect. You could get into games. You could get in and out of games. Everything seemed seamless. And then when it launched, what happened? The bottom
Right.
fell out,
Right.
right? And so in this article, he's bringing up some great points. He's saying games are launching broken, and we keep forgiving. He says worse perhaps is that the gaming press is shielding your eyes from serious issues that are brought to light only after a game is publicly released and subjected to heavy play in a live server environment. And then he goes on to say that's because a large percentage of outlets, including this one, on occasion are choosing to publish their reviews the incident embargo is lifted, which is typically the day prior to release. He then says this needs to stop. This has to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think? What are your opinions on this? And Eric, let me. I'd like to actually start with you because you write for EXL Gaming, and I would consider you gaming media. So what are your thoughts?
Not a journalist, but so no. As far as how the system is going right now with reviews and broken games,
Yeah.
and how do we stop it?
Yes.
The only way to stop it is to speak with your dollar, speak with your wallet. That's the only way for that to go down. Because I mean, take for example, and this has nothing to do with reviews, but has to do with something being broken. And I'm going to go right back again, and it might sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but I'm going to go back to Assassin's Creed Unity. Unity came out and needed a 40 gigabyte patch to fix it. That's insane, right?
Yeah. That's
So
the size of another game.
Yeah. So you take that with the fact that people have been saying for a while, this game needs to go away for a while. It's been the same mechanics, year in, year out. The annual release is killing this franchise, right? Ubisoft pushed forward because every year people bought Assassin's Creed. It was just a thing that you did. It's like picking up Madden. It's like picking up, don't want to send out any daggers, but COD. People pick those games up. And COD isn't the same case, but, people pick up, Assassin's Creed. Unity's completely broken, and then they go, by the time, what was the most recent one? Syndicate came out. No one cared. Because, they felt burned, by what happened with Unity. And I think, Syndicate did okay, and it got really rave reviews. I played a little bit of it, and I thought it was actually a really cool setting. I love the dual characters. Evie's a really awesome character. I like to see them do more with female protagonists. But the reason you're not getting another Assassin's Creed this year is because the damage was done, A, with that broken game, and B, people are tired of it, and they spoke with their wallet. So guess what Ubisoft said? Okay, no Assassin's Creed this year. We're going to go away.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad that they did that this year. That they actually stopped. We're not going to get another Assassin's Creed. I think that started becoming overkill.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So that's really the only way, man. If you can sit and bitch all day long, but if you're giving them the dollars, the damage is done.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, though, Eric, is that if a lot of these readers have faith, a lot of these gamers put so much faith in their favorite outlets.
Mm-hmm.
And so if these outlets are reviewing these games, I would argue prematurely, let's say, and they're giving them high scores, then they're kind of part of the problem too. Then,
right? And it's I found something kind of interesting. Listening to the Ryan McCaffrey interview on Tick's podcast, he actually talked about the Street Fighter review, and he said we got that wrong. He actually admitted that. Being that the fact that they didn't test it on real world servers, or that, I believe that's what he was saying, is that the game, the review came out and then the bottom kind of fell out, and it's kind of like, we should probably go back and re-review that game, as it stands. But, is that going to matter at this point?
Well, they should go re-review, and some,
right?
Yeah, some, and I'm surprised. I mean, are you guys aware of any gaming sites that have re-reviewed Street Fighter V or changed their review score?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Because I know a few sites did with, remember Drive Club?
Yeah.
So that was another game, that launched with issues, that had server issues. And there were quite a few review sites that, changed their scores. And I think a few did with the Master Chief Collection too, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm. Well, I mean, and that's all well and good too, because I think the same thing happened with Splatoon, because when that launched, it was light on content, and then as time went by, they just kept adding free content. They're still adding free content to it, like free maps, free guns, free weapons, free everything. So I think a few sites have actually gone back to re-review that and change it based on that, because it's actually a pretty robust game if you were to go pick it up now,
Yeah.
So it's happening. It's becoming a trend where games are kind of releasing kind of as is,
That's the part that worries me a little bit, as is.
Right.
And we keep buying as is. And if we
Yep.
keep buying as is, we're going to get games that are broken at launch.
Hmm.
And it's worrisome to me a little bit because Eric, you and I, and Lemieux, you too, we grew up in a different era of gaming.
Hmm.
Where games didn't. I mean, I don't remember. I can't even think. I can't even remember of a time. Maybe not even last generation. I don't remember games being broken this way or launching with so many issues. You know.
No.
No, this generation, at least the whole issue started with back, and it's gone down since then. For I still know some people with that game, and that game was for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's unacceptable.
Mm.
I mean, you know, cartridge stuff like that. Games just worked, and even with single player, some of that stuff is messed up. Said Assassin's Creed. If it was on the Nintendo 64 or whatever, it would have launched and it would have worked. That
Hmm.
in his issues, because these companies take, it's the wrong term, or use the ability to patch a game as an to finish it after they get all the money for it. And that's just idiot
Yeah.
business practices, and nobody's gonna wallet stop giving them money.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the gift and the curse of being in a broadband world. You know.
Yeah. That's a great point, Eric, because and we talked about this a couple podcasts ago that everything changed once these consoles became connected to the internet.
Hmm. Yeah, because what was it, Miyamoto that said, a broken game is broken forever. A game that's delayed, will eventually be a good game. So it's
Yeah.
like, that's words to live by, and it's very much true, because in the past, before we had broadband, if your game shipped broken, you were done.
Oh hell yeah!
There
Yeah,
was
your
no
game was
tomorrow.
done. Yeah, there was no
you know,
tomorrow. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
because and I think there were times where companies would ship a like a replacement disc or do something to that effect, but you know how much that would cost them.
Hmm.
You
A
know,
lot of money. Yeah.
yeah. So it's crazy, but it's true. No, until you speak with your wallet, it's just going to keep happening.
Yeah, but I also think it isn't just it's not just us, the consumers, that have to potentially hold publishers accountable. I think it's also the folks that in the media and the critics in the game industry.
Hmm.
They kind of have to address this too
Oh yeah,
because a lot of people are going to their sites to figure out whether or not they're going to buy a certain game based on a
Right.
review.
right.
And
It's all the click. They want the click first review out there. They need to have these reviews in progress that last longer than a couple hours. I'm gonna wait. They
Hmm.
need more than wait, maybe even a week to make sure everything rock solid before they put out a review. The normal video game review sites such as your IGNs and GameSpots, a dying breed, because nowadays you can go on YouTube and you can watch if your reviewers with the written word.
yeah, hey
Now
Lemieux,
people can go on YouTube and get their own. Yes.
yeah, hey Lemieux, real quick, man, you're kind of you're breaking in and out a little bit. All right, hopefully he can hear us okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know,
Can,
Eric.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You
Yep.
were just breaking out a little bit. You were kind of cutting in and out a little bit.
That's not good.
You got to pay your bills, man.
And you've been stealing my slogan for years.
You got to get off that DSL. Let me tell you something, guys. I used to have DSL for Xbox Live. It was terrible.
Oh, I can imagine, dude.
Oh, it was the worst. I couldn't stand it. I hated it. Cable was so much better for Xbox Live early on in the early years.
Mm.
But there was another guys. There was another article that was, and this ties into what we're talking about. I thought it was kind of funny, and actually, you brought this to my attention today, Eric. You DM me this article, the article that Worry tweeted out
Hmm.
at GameTired.com, and it's let's see here. It was a list of stupid things we console gamers accept in 2016. And so I read that list, and I was, oh my gosh, Eric, I was laughing my ass off, man, because it was so true. A lot of it was true.
Yeah. Sadly, sadly it was.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, holy shit! I mean, a lot of this stuff is true. Like, and I'll go down the list real quick. So, Street Fighter topped the list at number one. We accept that games like Street Fighter Five go to launch with half missing features and a spotty working feature. We pay full price for that unfinished and untested game, right? We participate in glorified advertised betas like The Division. We talked about betas, I think, a couple podcasts ago, as them being, really avenues to market games and drive pre-orders.
Hmm. Right.
And what else? We spend an average of the price of a game to utilize online gaming. We then are expected to sit tight as servers fail at peak hours constantly, then weep with joy when we are given a free month of service.
Seriously. We
It,
sit around at Christmas going, I hope the servers don't go down.
I know, right? And you know what cracks me up is that when I read that, it made me think of Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4. When Battlefield 4 launched, there were server issues, and when the servers were running so smoothly, we were so happy. It was like we were like children. We're like, "Oh my god, it works. This is how it can be when it works." And just the idea of something actually working kept us going back.
Hmm.
Isn't that sad?
I tell you, I love number five, man. It's like we love paying extra for DLC so much that we buy season passes for content that may or may not come.
Yeah, that that was hilarious. That was one of my favorite ones too, and it's
Yeah.
true. It's absolutely true. The one before that, Eric, is we support indie developers who promise the moon in their Kickstarter, but then we have no real business strategy or grasp of how to move forward. You know
Hmm.
why successful Kickstarter games are such a story? Because they are a rare gem among a mountain of failure, unfulfilled promises, and legal embezzlement. And did you guys? Was it what was it? There's a game that was supposed to come out that was a Kickstarter. It was an indie game. Was it Ant Simulator? Do you guys know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
that sounds familiar, yeah.
Where the
Uh,
developer took the Kickstarter
I don't
funds
know.
and like went to strip
Yeah.
clubs.
Yeah. It was basically like, oops, sorry. you know?
Yeah, he took the money and went to strip clubs and God knows what else did with it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know,
look,
man. That's, yeah. Do you guys kickstart games at all?
I don't, I don't, look, I don't at all. Do you, Lemieux?
I support
No, do we-
3.
Oh, you support three?
Which
Yes,
one?
yeah, I got that started. I'm looking forward to that one.
Which game? I couldn't hear you, man. Which game did you kickstart?
Shenmue 3.
Oh,
Oh,
Shenmue
Shenmue
3,
3.
okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't. For my own personal reasons, I couldn't do that.
Mm.
That's another conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. I've sat there looking at the screens before,
Hmm.
and I kind of wanted to, and I was like, And again, more power to those who do. I just kind of say, you know what? When it comes out, I'll pay you for it gladly.
Yeah.
You know, it's just there hasn't been that one yet that made me go, okay, yeah, I'm going in. You know, and that new one, Fig, really makes me just kind of. I don't understand how that one works at all. And I just actually put an article up today. Kevin Smith is doing a game for Jay and Silent Bob on Fig, and they're the same ones that Tim Schafer's using for Psychonauts 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but their deal is they're saying that you can actually be like an investor, so you can actually see something on the return. You know, but again, I put the article up. I have no idea how it all works.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check that out. I wasn't aware that Kevin Smith was actually doing a game. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're doing like a 2D side-scrolling brawler for Jay and Silent Bob, where the two drug dealers are going
Oh
through
my gosh.
a desolate mall to find their customers.
Oh
I'm
my
all
God.
over that. Like, if it's awesome, I'll buy it. Like,
Yeah.
hands down, because I'm a huge Kevin Smith, fan. But yeah, and actually, yeah, Digital Falcon. Actually, Enrique, if I can give a shout out to Digital Falcon,
Yeah, absolutely.
EXL's own Digital Falcon was just accepted to the Air Force today.
Oh, was he? Congratulations,
Yeah.
man. Congratulations to Digital Falcon.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Congrats, buddy.
Very awesome. Congrats.
Yeah.
But he said he pledged to Star Citizen and Shenmue 3.
So Star Citizen's interesting, and it's got over. So actually, it's funny. Digital just mentioned this. It's got over 100 million in pledge money. I mean, that's insane.
That's insane.
That's
That's
AAA
crazy.
budget.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
more than. I mean, there's triple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's two AAA budgets.
I want to say Quantum Break was probably about 50 million or 75 million.
Mm-hmm.
And geez, 100 million Star Citizen. When's the release date for that?
Not a clue. It's not. It wasn't on my radar.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone in the chat knows. Maybe Digital Falcon, if you know what the release date is for Star Citizen or the approximate release date, if you could just let us know, that'd be awesome. One more thing in this list, guys. We expect that most games will not work their first couple of days in the marketplace. So,
That one stood out to me for real, man, because it is true. Because we
That's
do
a-
sit. Because I mean, think about it. The Division's coming, and I know they beta tested, but we have no guarantee that it's going to work correctly day one.
yeah, that's
It's sad.
yeah, it is sad, Lemieux, and it's sad that we've accepted this. Like it's like this is the norm for us, and but it's like and I know we kind of danced around this subject a little bit last week, guys, when Worrywart was here, and Worry kind of said it too. It's like, hey, look, as long as we keep buying this shit and we keep supporting it, they're gonna keep spoon feeding us this shit.
Yep.
And that's what's going to happen. And look, I don't want to spend $60, and because I'm older now, and I use that term loosely. Look, $60. I grew up paying $50 for games, right? Like most of us did, I think, for years. Here comes $60, and if I'm paying $60, I want a game to work out the box. I don't want patches. And look, I understand patches. Things are going to happen, right? The Witcher 3, it had its issues, but I don't think the Witcher 3 issues were for me like this terrible, situation like with Master Chief Collection or with Street Fighter 5, right?
No, not at all.
But I want games to work, and it's just like I don't hear enough people talking about games being broken. And I go back to the encounter Bella and I had in the TXR chat room last night, where we were being called liars because people felt the need to defend a game that's broken. As a consumer, why would you do that? Like put your allegiance to whatever brand you have to the side.
Right.
And think to yourself, wait a minute, like I'm spending cash on this. I'm spending $60 for a game that doesn't work. Why am I going to defend this? Because someone's getting a refund because they don't feel like there's value in that game, or
Right.
because it's broken. Why? How do I rationally defend that? That's the part that I don't understand.
Yeah, and that's true, and it's also a kind of a way that you handle that. Like Fastback247 said in the chat just now. He said, "Look at GTA 5, all DLC free." That is a way you kind of go about it. I mean, look at Halo 5. It came out. They continue to add content to it free of charge, except for the rec packs. If you choose to buy those, they're optional buy-ins, but they're adding content to it. Post-release.
Well, let me ask you
That's
something,
kind of a way
guys.
to mitigate that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it is. Well, let me ask you guys something. Do you guys so I know Fastback mentioned GTA 5, their DLC is free, but isn't some of perhaps that's because GTA 5 is, I mean, that thing is selling ridiculous amounts of units right now. I mean, I think they've sold 60 million units.
It was the number 2 in January, according to the NPD. Came out years ago.
It charts every month.
It's like Minecraft.
Exactly.
Yeah, and perhaps that's probably why they can offer the free DLC. But regardless, I think that's the way to go. I think if you can. Well, let me ask you something, guys. I mean, do you think that having to pay for DLC, do you think that benefits a game in keeping gamers engaged, or do you think gamers would be engaged with the game longer if the DLC was free? Like they'd keep coming back.
I think that pay for maps and whatnot it's separate base.
Oh,
You know,
those
like a
of you
game
again,
like
let
Star
me-
Wars Battlefront. Oh boy, sorry for I don't know what's going on tonight.
Dude, you got to pay your bills, man.
I know, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
Eric Lemieux was Lemieux and I did the first couple when I first started doing the podcast for Basement Radio Arcade. Lemieux was my regular guest for the first couple podcasts, and he used to make fun of me because I had a computer that was like 4 years old, and it was, and my internet speed's actually pretty decent. I think I get, 80 up, 80 down, and he
That
would,
is good.
yeah, he'd bust my chops because there were a couple times where the podcast cut off, like halfway, and I don't know. Did you guys? So Eric, I think the first podcast I did with Mamacita. And by the way, big shout out to Mamacita wherever she is. The first podcast I did with Mamacita, I dropped out, and she was like there. She handled it like a champ. She was there by herself. That was hilarious. And then I did one with Worry and Southbound, and I dropped off, and I forget what, I think that's podcast number 7 that happened. But I remember going back and listening to that podcast, and both Worry and South were like, "Holy shit, the host isn't here. We're taking over."
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was probably one of
But,
the funniest podcasts that I've been part of.
Yeah, but no. But to answer your question, and actually, I'll let Lemieux finish if he's back before I move on.
Not sure if you can hear me or not. Can you repeat the question? I'm just so frazzled with my difficulties.
No worries, man.
No, it was about the DLC being compelling. Whether if it has to be compelling or if it's free, will that continue? I think it's a little bit of both. If you have DLC that's compelling, like Digital Falcon pointed out, like The Witcher or Fallout, then I'll gladly pay for it. If it's a game that I'm really like in love with and I just want to see more and I can't get enough of it, you give me compelling DLC, I'll pay you for it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to turn you down if you want to give it to me for free.
Hey, Eric, are you going to get the Witcher Cheese and Wine DLC?
I'm not even through the regular game yet. So I'm telling you, I'm not even joking when I say I'll be playing that game for a few years. Which is fine. It's just how it is. But yeah, that's like the game that just keeps on coming.
Yeah. It is, man. You know what, Eric, you're gonna really like that game, but you're gonna spend a lot of hours, man.
Yeah.
I know we talked about that a couple of podcasts ago. You are gonna spend. I could see you putting over 100 hours in that game easily.
Oh, hands down, man. Like I told you, I put like 40, 50 plus hours in Tomb Raider, just running around, finding things, doing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but the flip side of that is, I want to pick on like Arkham Knight. It's DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Which I haven't bought any of it. I'm playing that game. It's in my backlog, but I haven't bought any of the DLC. And then from what I understand, none of it's really worth it. So maybe down the road, that's one of those scenarios where on a Black Friday, if they're giving it away for, 99 cents, then I was like, all right, what the hell, But that's one of those cases where, if you bought that season pass, I haven't heard anyone rave about it. Even people who are like hardcore Batman fans.
Really? Wow.
If I have to pick an isolated game to kind of pick on for a season pass DLC,
Yeah. I did the Destiny DLC stuff. Yeah.
Isn't Destiny all DLC?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It is. I'm sorry. It is. You're right. But I'm saying, like, I went out, I bought all the stuff that they came out with, and if I go back and if I go back and look at how much money I spent.
Right.
I can't say it was worth the price of admission, to be honest with you.
Well, I guarantee, man, Destiny 2 is going to be a whole different experience, since they're like poaching writers from BioWare.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they focus on the story or something, but we'll see. I'm not, I'm taking a wait and see approach with that, And actually, speaking of Destiny, guys, I forget what the Division beta numbers were, but apparently there was for the open beta they had this past week. When compared to Destiny's open beta, there were 2 million more players. think this is something
Wow.
Ubisoft put out. Yeah, there's 2 million more players on the Division beta than they were on the Destiny
Well, there
beta.
you go, man. You make it open, people are going to come.
Yeah.
And I think
So
you asked me if I was going to play anymore, and I think Bella asked me too, and I said I think I've seen everything I need to see. I don't need any. I mean, it's fun, and I like it. And I hope this doesn't sound negative. I mean, I'm going to pick up the game, but I didn't really feel a need to go back into the beta, and it had nothing to do with enjoying it. I just kind of said, I'm ready. Just give me the game at this point.
yeah. Hey guys, real quick, fast back in the chat room, commented on what we're just talking about. He said, "Make a good game to start and keep the DLC free or cheap to get more coming back. A $50 season pass." I'm not sure what he means. The other part here, but yeah, I look. I'm all for free DLC. I'm all for that.
I'll never turn down free DLC.
No, I don't think anyone
Yeah.
would. And I don't know.
I don't
Go ahead, Lemieux.
hear me, but do DLC in a multiplayer game like Call of Duty, or I think a map should always be free. Just because if it's not, it separates your fan base. And when the fan base gets separated, people leave.
Yeah.
Halo's doing a great job, with
hmm
that's what everybody should live by, in my opinion.
You're right. You do separate the fan base when you do stuff like that. That's a good point. And Star Wars Battlefront is releasing some free maps this week too.
Yeah, they had an update today with some new, including, which I haven't seen yet, but an to add some to the game to make it look like more like the checkout. Seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I haven't played that. Guys, I have Star Wars Battlefront, but I haven't played that in a minute.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I need to get back
It's-
on it.
It's just fun. It's just casual fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, yeah. So we again.
Ask you guys a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You got it.
Uh, Back to the division. Planning on picking that up for.
What do we plan on? Which console we plan on picking that up for?
Yeah.
Good. I'm definitely Xbox One.
Yeah, I said this may be one of those times I'd actually double dip
Yeah,
because
I
I
might do that
legit
too.
have friends on both sides that I would play it with.
Yeah, I might do that
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I might do that too, Eric. I might get both.
So right, you hear that, guys? There's friends on both sides. We can all do this. Come together.
Get along.
Eric, there's
Yeah.
there's no such thing as friends on both sides. Come on, man.
What did Rick James say before he punched Charlie Murphy in the forehead? Unity.
Yeah, unity. I thought you were gonna say I'm Rick James, bitch. Oh, that's too funny. Well, guys, let's transition to something else real quick that I wanted to talk about. Actually, Eric, I know there's something you wanted to talk about. One of the things that we have received as gamers, for those of us who subscribe to, and I'm assuming most of us do, subscribe to Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Plus. Those services have given us some added value features in the form of free games, free gaming content. And I know we had a very passionate exchange last Thursday on the Green Room podcast, or the Green Room show, I should say, with regards to Xbox Live, the console owners having to pay for Xbox Live, PC gamers not, and then you remember guys, Bella chiming in and talking about, I forget what the dollar value was she assigned to the free games you get on Gold. Was it like $700 or something?
No, actually, we did a breakdown article on both, and
Okay.
they were pretty close. Xbox came in around 9, like 900, and PlayStation's a little over 1,000.
Wow. Okay. So
But
they're
very,
they're
very
close.
close.
They're close.
Yep.
And so, Eric, this is something you brought to my attention today, and I think, when you think about that dollar amount, look, it's great they're giving away these free games. My issue with PlayStation Plus and Gold has been quality over quantity. You know, and why we can get $1,000 worth of free games. I think look, it's a great option. I'm not knocking the option, but is there enough quality there? Are there enough big titles there? And Eric, I know you mentioned this before we came online on live that early on we were getting some more bigger game, or they were throwing in more bigger titles with some of the free games they were giving out each month, and so. You know, it got me thinking. Like, I really haven't seen. Well, you know, Thief was part of Games for Gold, right?
Yeah.
More recently,
Yeah,
and so that was kind of
that's a big title. Yeah.
yeah, that's a big title. And then I believe Gears, the Gears remastered one wasn't that part of Games for Gold too?
Gears of War 2 was just
Yeah, Gears of War 2. Not
Gears of
the
War 2.
remaster. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And Judgment was a part of it.
and Judgment, yeah. So we've seen some big games, but I guess the question is, and we could throw this out to the folks in the live chat, see what you guys think too, because I'm really interested to get their feedback on this. Do you feel that Games for Gold and PlayStation Plus are they giving us enough big, compelling titles that we're actually really going to play, or do they need to do a better job at that?
And here's where I was kind of taking it from. Not so much for 360 and PS3. I mean, because let's be real. I mean, most of us we're spending most of our time now on the Xbox One. I know there's the backwards compatibility, but let's talk about Xbox One and PS4. What they're doing with getting everybody into games with gold and games with PlayStation Plus. Because they have those products. They did things to get people interested in them and want to be a part of it. I mean, most people had gold, and I know Sony was doing it mostly to get people to get subscriptions up on PlayStation Plus. But what I kind of noticed is, from month to month to month, and again, they're free games. I'm not going to sit here and be upset about free games, and we do those articles every month where we announce what's coming up, and then we announce what's out. And we do follow-ups on that. And you should see, we release those articles and we post them, and people lose their minds. Some people are like, "Oh, that's awesome," and some people are like, "This is bullshit." And I just kind of went, because I can remember like when Xbox first started getting involved in this. Because you remember they kind of came late to the party. They didn't initially do this. Giving away the free games with gold. Sony had been doing it for a little while. But just looking at some of the titles that were on offer, I'm kind of like, well, in those smaller titles that you offer, maybe every now and again throw in a heavy hitter just to shake it up.
Yeah.
Like a true heavy hitter, from something that maybe came out a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Like I look at on the Xbox side, maybe you throw in Dead Rising 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On the PlayStation side, maybe you throw in The Order.
Yeah, they should definitely throw in The Order. That game's selling for $10 now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just every now and again.
I think released as far as the games with gold or whatever, I believe was Assassin's Creed Black.
You said Assassin's Creed Black Flag?
Yeah, Black Flag.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah.
I think both of them have done Tomb Raider Definitive, I think, right? I know Xbox did. I can't remember if PlayStation did.
I'm not sure about PlayStation, but Xbox did right shortly before the release of...
I don't think PlayStation...
Go ahead, Lemieux.
I was just saying PlayStation did, but PlayStation did not, but Xbox... games with gold, yes.
Yeah, no, they did. They did, and they did it shortly before the release of... the last two Rise of the Tomb Raider. So I agree with you, Eric. I'd like to see a couple more heavy hitters, but one thing that actually Digital Falcon just brought up a great point in the chat. He's saying as of now, no, in terms of these big games, but you have to understand that it's that this gen is only 2 years in, so the library has to build up. And yeah, there's some truth to that. I mean, we're really we're 3 years in now, and look, we're starting really this generation. I feel like is really starting to get its legs under it now. I think that I really think Microsoft kind of got this gen going this past fall with a lot of the exclusive content that they put out. And this year, you're going to see both Sony and Microsoft put out a lot of great exclusive content. We talked about the month of March, Uncharted 4, Quantum Break, and so those are going to be coming out. And so I think it's a good point that digital brings up. I think that I would hope at least that as this console generation goes on, we'll get some of these more, like you said, heavy hitters. Some things that are going to really entice. People to download some of these games. And look, I'm going to put my marketing hat on. I think that if you are selling these services, if you can advertise some of these heavy hitters, I think that's going to entice people to put down their $50 or $60 for their yearly subscription to have access to some of this free stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So so it's going to be interesting to see what games they have coming out in the next couple months. And Eric, I know you tweeted me something earlier today. It looks like Microsoft. And you said this isn't confirmed for the U.S. that they're going to get. Oh shit! What's the name of the game now?
Oh no, it's official now.
It's official.
Yeah, the Xbox North America actually confirmed all those titles are legit.
What were those titles again, Eric?
Those would be. Hold on, give me 1 second. Just gonna go
there was
to
that
the
one
exlgaming.com page.
Nice plug. I hear that, man. I hear that. You got to plug it.
So they actually came out a little late today, the announcement, but it was actually leaked from Xbox Spain.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, or they jumped the gun, I should say.
I think one was Lords of the Fallen.
That's
Lords of the Fallen.
Yes. Have any of you guys played that?
No, I have not yet, but I'm definitely going to.
I played it a little bit. It's a little bit like Dark Souls.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's sort of in that vein. I don't know if it's as difficult, but it's supposed to be something like that. But then also you got
I'm not gonna
Sherlock
rage.
Holmes, Crime and Punishment.
Yep, that's gonna be part of Games of Gold.
Yeah. Then on 360, Supreme Commander 2 and Borderlands. So not bad. That's actually a really good month.
That's actually a really good month. I'll take Borderlands and what's it called? Why am I forgetting this game? Holy shit! Eric, I'm just getting old, man.
You and me both.
My old age. Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm 39 years old, and
I got you beat by one.
Okay, I don't feel as bad. Yeah. So, guys, other. Let me ask you something, guys. Do you feel like what? Let me ask you for the Sony side, and from the Xbox side, what first party games or big titles would you guys like to see come to Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus? Like, what would be on your must-have list or wish list?
Good question. Good question. Let's see. I'll let Lemieux go first.
Lemieux, you there, Ben?
You're talking both Sony?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd love to try Knack, and I'm not gonna.
Knack, okay.
So I'd like to try it with free with my PSN.
I think you're gonna get that. I have a feeling that's gonna come shortly.
Yeah, I'd be surprised at that. That's one game I'm surprised that hasn't come free. Wasn't a big Knack fan, guys, to be honest with you. Wasn't. Yeah.
I don't think very many people will.
Well, it's supposed to be getting a second part.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I you know what, guys, I don't know about Knack. I just can't. I can't get into that. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I played it at launch and it just wasn't. Yeah. Eric, what about you, man?
Let's see. It's kind of hard to say because, like, as it stands right now, if we're gonna look back at some older games,
Yeah.
a majority of them I already have. So I'm kind of trying to think what would jump out as something I'd like to see.
So Eric, this doesn't apply to you then, man.
I mean, you put me on the spot. I didn't know you were going to ask me which one I would actually want. If there's
Yeah,
a wish
Eric-
list. Let's see.
Eric's like, yeah, I've got all the games, man. I'm good. I don't need this.
Well, not all of them. Not all of them. Not all of them. I'm just trying to think. Because it doesn't even have to be like from a first party standpoint.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
You
It
know?
doesn't have to be first party.
So I'm trying to think. I don't know. Maybe something like Metro.
Yeah, Metro would be good.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
both parts, you know, the remastered both parts, that would be cool to have. I think they've given them away on 360 and PS3.
I think they did too. If my memory serves me correct, I think they did. I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, let's
I'll say it, Dead Rising 3.
Yeah,
Give me
Dead
that.
Rising 3.
You know, I haven't played that yet.
Yeah, I'd even throw Rise in there.
Yeah, I played Rise.
Oh, Rise was so good. I loved that. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was a good looking game. It was a really good launch game.
Yeah, actually, I played. I did my own comparison. I didn't do any like content with it, but I did my own comparison between that and the Order since they get compared a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not sure why, but they do. I guess because they both look really good. That's
They
the
both
major.
look good. Yeah.
You know, that's about to me the only similarities. But we'll talk about that off the air. I got some thoughts on that one.
Oh, Eric, you're afraid to stoke the fires.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Exactly, no spoilers. Yeah. So, so guys, why don't we jump into some gaming news here? And real quick, Justin Lewis, and perfect question, by the way, perfect timing. He said, "What's up with Far Cry Primal? I feel like it's a ripoff. Haven't bought it yet. I don't know what's up with Far Cry Primal, Justin. I have not played the game yet. The reviews, I think, have been pretty positive for the most part. Last time I checked, it was like trending, I think, like 77 on Metacritic, if you follow Metacritic. But some of the reviews that I read, Polygon today and GameSpot gave it pretty good reviews.
Okay, I want that one on Games with Gold next month.
You, Eric, you have set the bar high, man, with what you want for Games of Gold.
Hey, let's just start. Let's kick the door open, man. Let's say, you know what? It doesn't have to be an old game. You know, we're gonna raise the bar and start giving away games that came out last week.
Yeah, I hear that, man. That'd be great. Yeah,
I like
tell
it
you
too.
what.
I like it.
You want to win this generation? Do that.
Oh
Both,
yeah,
You know, whoever's winning, whatever you want to call that.
whoever's winning, yeah.
You want to be in the news? Do that.
Do that, yeah, exactly. That's a mic drop moment.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Are any of you guys planning on picking this up?
I'm probably
Gamefly.
gonna do like I do a lot of the Far Cry games and pick it up in a few months.
Yeah. Let me. You say GameFly.
Yeah, I'll be playing it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be GameFly for me too, guys. I'm kind of, these franchises. Like, I'm a little Far Cried out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I still have Far Cry 4.
Have you?
Like,
Have
to
you?
play. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, you haven't beat
so
it
I'm
yet?
kind of like, no, I haven't even touched it. I haven't even like played it. So, I mean, Primal looks so different, so it really wouldn't matter which one you play, first. But, I don't know, I kind of want to go.
Recommend you play Far Cry 4. It's fantastic.
Well, I love 3, so yeah, so I got to get on that.
Yeah, four was a good one, and this one's interesting because it takes place, the prehistoric era. You can control, you kind of have the powers of the Beastmaster. You can kind of control, different animals.
That's what it reminded me of, Enrique. Beastmaster.
Yes, Beastmaster.
Oh, dope movie.
That's how. If you start quoting Beastmaster, you're old.
I'll go with you, man. We can do it, man. I mean, we might bore some people, but or they're like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, what are they talking about exactly? Oh my! Lemieux, do you remember the movie Beastmaster?
I never.
You never saw it, but you know what it is, though, right?
I do.
Yeah. Lemieux's having major robot voice tonight.
Yeah.
It's all good,
Wor-
Lemieux. We got your back.
Worries in the chat. He asked, did they get actual cave people to mocap or just actors from 2016?
Actually, Worry. They actually got the guys that do the Geico commercials uh, to do that. So, you guys don't want to talk about the Geico commercials with the cavemen?
Oh
Maybe,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
probably Andy Serkis, man. He mocaps everything.
he mocaps everything, and Nolan North is doing the voiceovers. But yeah, so you can actually
And
you can
Troy
control.
Baker,
What's that?
Nolan North and Troy Baker.
Oh my gosh! You know what? I don't know. Well,
Well, Troy did the voice for what's his name, Pagan Min from the last game. Whatever his name was.
yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
I hope I said that right. I probably butchered it. Sorry.
No, I think that's right.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but a couple podcasts ago, I mistakenly called referred to Nolan North as Peter North, and that wasn't good. I don't know if you guys know who Peter North is, but he's
Yes, I do know who Peter North is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it moving.
yes, we'll keep moving. So, Worry just tweeted. What am I saying? Just commented in the chat section. Uncharted 4 footage tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey guys, speaking of Sony, they're going to have a PlayStation VR event in San Francisco, March 16th. And so
Me.
maybe
Uh,
Lemieux's like, hey, maybe we get the price. Oh my God!
that would be fun.
I'm sorry, guys. Worry, Jesus, Worry just in the live chat because we're talking about Peter North. Worry just said Peter North exclamation point the fire hose.
Yeah, right under that I said nice because I was responding to the Uncharted 4 thing, and
Oh my God,
out of context that looks pretty bad. But
that is hilarious. That's funny.
Be excited about when Hideo Kojima made a VR game.
What's that about Kojima in a VR game?
he said I'll
He
be
makes
excited.
a horror game, then I'll get VR.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, whatever PT was in VR, that'd be insane.
Yeah.
It
So
won't be PT, obviously, but something like
yeah.
that.
So that's coming up March 16th. So that's it. So that's all. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that event. I'm hoping that we get. I think they're going to drop the. I'm assuming that they're going to drop the price. That they're going to let us know what the price is.
They have to. Point.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this a couple other podcasts ago, guys. With the rumors like $299, $399 for the PlayStation VR.
No, I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere in the fours. Middle 500.
Yeah, that's. Well, guys, Vive, HTC Vive, in other news, HTC Vive announced the price point for their VR headset. It's going to be $700.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think about that? I mean, obviously, we know that look, those price points aren't really geared towards, the average consumer. These are going to the people that are going to adopt these VR headsets like Oculus and even Vive. They're going to be the tech enthusiast.
Yeah, and I mean they're going to go right along with it. Those are the ones you can throw that price out, and they'll jump in, and then it'll be tailored. I mean, as things go along, and it becomes more mainstream, things get cheaper.
Yeah, and actually, Digital
But
Falcon
you use those to get the word out.
Exactly. Digital Falcon brought up a great point. He actually mentioned that considering the technology in the HTC Vive, this is a great point. It's actually much cheaper than he thought it was. So that's true. But I think the if I'm thinking about from a competitive standpoint, and this not the technology piece, because obviously Oculus and Vive are going to have the advantage with regards to VR, VR technology, because it's on PC. The appeal with the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation VR, is that it's going to be cheaper, and so it offers a cheap alternative for folks who want to experience VR, who have the PlayStation 4 ready to go out and get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the success of, or the potential success of PlayStation VR is gonna be for Sony.
Right. And look, man, it's fine if people are, not everyone's going to be excited about it, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be that way. Personally, new tech, I want to, like I said, show me. I just want to see. But I'm not going to sit here and be one of those people who are like ready to shoot it down and kill it. But I'm somewhere in between.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Lemieux? Are you gonna pass on PlayStation VR? You can't GameFly it, man.
You can't buy the headset in.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, who had this thing?
Yeah, I know. Lemieux's gonna be day one with GameFly getting the headset flown in.
You see what some of those discs look like when you get them in.
Yeah,
Imagine what
that's
the VR
hysterical.
headset would look like.
I know, right? Oh my goodness, that'd be hilarious. So Lemieux, is that not an option for you right now, or?
It's not really on my radar, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Just it's glorified tech demos for right.
Well, there's actually been some. I think there's been some good games out there. I think so. Bella just mentioned E Valkyrie, and I think that's one of those games that looks promising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I look at that and it looks like right up my alley. And Digital Falcon's he's had hands on with it.
Oh yeah, he's used. You mean hands-on with PlayStation
With the
VR or
PlayStation
Oculus?
VR. No, play PSVR.
Oh wow, what were his impressions?
He did a full write up on EXL.com. But
Nice
again,
plug. Hey, nice plug again, Eric. So basically,
But,
if you want to know certain things about this podcast, you got to go to EXL Gaming to read about it.
no, his impressions were very positive, and he's actually one of those people that, kind of nudged me a little further into being, more interested in it.
Yeah,
Because again, we're in a bubble because we haven't touched it. So that's why I said I can't sit here and go, oh, it's going to be shit and it's not going to work and it's going to fail. I've not touched it. I don't know what it does, because everyone who I've talked to or people who I've seen impressions of who may have been on the fence, they said once you touch it and you use it, you get it.
yeah. That's
You understand
you understand it, yeah.
And that's fine. Again, not everything's for everyone. I think we talked before. I said, the Kinect as a gaming device never really worked for me because, I'm 6'7". I would need a room that's like an airplane hangar for the thing to almost see me at times, So I just never really got into it. But to each his own. I know people who use it all the time. It has nothing to do with the tech itself. It just wasn't something that, sold me on my Xbox. Like, I didn't really care for it. Even in talking to it and telling it, because half the time I'm like telling it, turn this off and turn that off, to the point I was like, I could have done it already.
Yeah.
That was my experience. But when the Kinect was introduced, I looked at it and I said, that's interesting, but I didn't look at it and go, oh, that's just gonna fail.
Eric, you're lying. You're a liar. The Kinect worked. What are you talking about?
Again, for me, just didn't work.
No, I know. I hear you, man. I'm
Right
just
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. I was kind of trolling you a little bit because I was thinking back of those guys that were getting salty with Bella.
Oh yeah, no,
in the
exactly.
chat room.
You have to be careful, like what you say, because it's like in the end of the world. Like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about? What are you talking
You just
about?
don't know how to use it.
Yeah, what are you, stupid? My 6-year-old can use the Kinect. That's too funny.
So again, I'm not saying that I'm going to jump into one, but I'm also not going to be that guy that shoots it down immediately. And I'm especially not going to sit here and shoot it down over stupid console war shit.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Our biggest issue right now is how they demo it. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's what we said. It doesn't demo well on stage.
No, it doesn't.
Every time they try, it's been embarrassing.
Well, we saw what happened at the PlayStation Experience when they tried to demo it. It just didn't demo well.
It was cringeworthy. Cringeworthy.
Yeah, I was kind of like just turn it off, guys. I mean,
See, Justin says Kinect works perfect, the greatest device ever created by man.
actually, my Connect actually worked pretty well. But I think I think that's something that everyone had different experiences with. Clearly, right? But
Yeah.
that's a great point, Lemieux. That's tough, man. The demo and see, at least with the one thing with AR is that you can actually demo. We saw that at E3 this year with Microsoft demoing AR and Hololens and in Minecraft. So we could actually see that, get a better idea. But the PlayStation experience, that was tough.
Uh,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
No. It's sort of like when they did the first like 360 tech demos, and Connect, tech demos. It was like, on stage it looks a little weird.
yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, Justin Lewis in the chat said if Blockbuster was still around, you could rent VR.
Tell you get that case out
Damn
the
it.
back.
Do you remember that? You remember?
Yeah, man.
I remember they used to have. I used to.
I worked at a Blockbuster.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Eric, you bring it back. That's old school, man. And that's where Blockbuster originated in Florida.
Yeah. See, we have some good things,
Let me tell you something. I love Florida, Eric.
Besides
I love-
alligators and shit trying to eat you.
Yeah, you guys have beautiful women and beautiful beaches.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Very true.
Yeah. I got. I took my I took my wife down to South Beach one year, and I was like, "Ooh, I shouldn't have done this." Yeah.
I tell you, how many cousins I have that come, from other states, and they're like, "We're gonna go to South Beach." And I'm like, "Dude, what's the worst place in your town to go to that you never want to visit?" And I'm like, "That's South Beach for us."
That's South Beach. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I
Now,
could see
if
that.
you're out of town, go have fun.
Yeah, I could
And,
see that.
Sometimes you have to suck it up and take them, but most of the time, I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere near South Beach.
Yeah. That's like
Yes.
Pittsburgh for Lemieux,
See, see.
right, Lemieux?
no.
Well, guys, in other, we're going to move along some more gaming news. So we talked about Far Cry Primal coming out. Plants for Zombies 2 came out as well today. And did you guys play the beta for that?
No.
No.
Yeah, I actually played it. I'm actually a big fan of that series. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those games I feel like it's just easy to pick up and play, and just have fun online doing it. And a lot of the mechanics remind me of Battlefield, actually, believe it or not. But this version actually looks pretty good. It looks really, really good. I really liked it. And I think, who did I play? I feel like I played the beta online. I may have played with Mike NLG. I think. I don't remember. So that came out today. Are you guys planning on picking that up, or is that going to be something you guys backlog?
I don't know if I'll pick it up because I got the first game right around the time that they did the first PSX, and EA came out and they did the announcement where they gave away like 3 free games on stage.
That's
and
when
that
I
was
got
one
it
of
as
them.
well.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't even play much of it.
Yeah. Well, it's it's. Go ahead, Lemieux.
Played it for a few hours worth of the free version, the gateway
Yeah.
and PSX, and I've seen enough.
Yeah, it didn't grab me. It didn't really lock me in, but
Yeah, it's to me it's one of those fun online party games you play with friends. Kind of like Rocket League. Rocket League came out last week, and I did pick it up for the Xbox, and I did play it this weekend. Actually, I got my 6-year-old was playing it too. He's having a blast with it. But I'm not gonna lie to you, Eric, and I know you mentioned this last week. You can rage quit in that game sometimes.
yeah, I'm telling you, hey, that shot lined up perfectly, and all of a sudden the ball goes skew. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. My heart was pounding the other day, man. I'm the only car going down the field. I have the ball in front of me. I'm like open net. I hit the ball, and somehow the ball goes right and completely misses the goal. And I'm like, really? I'm telling you,
Wow.
I almost quit on my team.
I'm honestly, man, I'm just glad I've been seeing like the tweets and the news on it. I'm glad that, like Xbox fans and people who only have the Xbox are like, it's found a home there and people are enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yo, and that's
regardless of how people try to tear it down and just dog it out. I'm like, that game made 50 million for a reason, and it had nothing. I don't think it had anything to do with, media bias or people hyping it up or whatever. It's a good game. Good games, like they always say. What's the saying, Enrique? Cream rises to the top.
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Good games are good games.
yeah, I think with gaming, and it's not an accident when you see some of these games sell the way they do. Obviously, people are enjoying it, having fun. I mean, the essence of gaming is having fun. These people are having fun, and yeah, I never attribute it to media bias. It's a fun game. It is, and if you watch the videos of the game, the videos really don't do the game justice because they kind of dumb the game down. They make it look like this simple like game where you just drive RC cars around and you just use your car to hit the ball.
No,
but it's more than that.
The physics, the way the cars control, like everything. There's like a lot going on in that game.
Oh yeah.
It's not just it's not some dumbed down, it's a cool concept, for one, and again, just fun. And that's why we play games, right?
Well, some of us do.
Well, I know I do. No, you do.
I do, yeah.
No, Lemieux does. I don't know what the hell everyone else does sometimes, but
they argue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah. Lemieux, did you pick this up for Xbox? I think you had it for PlayStation.
I got it part of the PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, because it was free for PlayStation Plus for a little bit, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I have it on PlayStation Plus, but I'm actually going to buy it for Xbox so I can play with all you guys.
Yeah, you know what, Eric? We gotta get together one night and get a group of 8 guys together or gals, and do 4-on-4.
Yeah, Justin's killing me in the chat, man.
Yeah, what did he say? Well, no. Oh, let's see here. Justin says no fun is forbidden. Let's argue over plastic boxes and fight. I just watch podcasts and argue with other fanboys. I don't even play games. Let me tell you something. After what I saw last night in that podcast, I'm starting to believe some of those guys weren't even gamers. They were just there just to troll and call certain people out on the podcast. It was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you wasting your time? If you don't agree with the opinion of somebody, why are you going to hop into their podcast and just troll them? For what? There's no reason for that.
I don't get it, man. Because I actually ask that question all the time, man. I'm like, I see like people all day like on Twitter just arguing back and forth. I'm like, when are you actually playing?
Exactly. Yeah, when do you play? So, well, guys, in other news, we all know about the issues Xbox Live had the last couple of days. And, I was having issues with regards to party chat this past weekend. Mm-hmm. Didn't really have any issues yesterday. Lemieux, you mentioned you were having some issues with some of the digital content you had. Lemieux, you with us?
I am here. You broke up. What did you say? I apologize.
I was saying you mentioned that you had some issues with Xbox Live and some of the digital content, accessing it.
Last night, I was unable to access the store, and none of my pins were showing up. But my friends list and playing games was just fine.
Yeah. What about you, Eric? Do you have any issues?
I didn't have any like major issues. Like all my friends were showing up on my friends list. I didn't check the games because I saw last night some people weren't able to access their content, but I didn't go on to play anything last night. Mm-hmm. But from last week, like probably not the whole week, but later in the week, I was having issues when I was trying to watch like HBO Go and some of the apps and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I initially thought it might have been something going on with my internet, and it would just keep timing out. Like no matter what I did, I would restart the modem, go back in, and start watching, and it would time out again, just freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, So, and now I'm at that point. I didn't know that there was anything major going on, but apparently at that point there was stuff going on.
Yeah,
So
and
that was the only thing I really experienced.
yeah, and it got to a point where even Phil Spencer tweeted, really kind of he tweeted out he apologized for the inconvenience and the issues they were having with live. And before we came on live tonight on our podcast, Eric, you and I were talking about this. I was talking to the guys over at the Inner Circle podcast, and they were saying that a hacker group was claiming responsibility for a DDoS attack on
Right.
Xbox Live. Now, I haven't seen anything, official from any press or Microsoft on this just yet. Have you guys seen anything since we went live? I haven't seen anything, but
No, I
apparently
haven't seen
that's
anything.
yeah. Apparently that's the story that's going around right now, that it was DDoS'd. I know there was some speculation. I know that some of the folks on Twitter were speculating that it was a DDoS attack that was causing a lot of the issues that Xbox Live was having.
Well, that's all. Like, people making all kind of speculations and things, but what I was kind of taking away from it is it really sucks that it is down, and I think for the most part, level-headed people were kind of being chill about it. Like, hey, we live in a world where things are connected all the time, and sometimes things are going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But the one I can't ever understand is when it becomes, okay, well, yeah, Xbox Live is down, but hey, let's remember a week ago, PlayStation Network was down.
Yeah.
What the hell does that? Xbox is still down right now. Like, what does that prove? And vice versa. And it goes the other way around too. Like, when PSN is down, or when Xbox Live is down, and it's just, that doesn't fix the issue. Things do go down, and it sucks, But maybe we should be looking at it more like, instead of going at each other over something stupid, kind of go over like, hey, how do we talk to these companies and make it better? Because I see a lot of damage controlling going on amongst fans, but neither company, except for giving you little updates, they're kind of letting you know what's going on, but I don't see them out there damage controlling it. They're just trying to fix it and get you back into playing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
it's the dumbest thing in the world to sit there damage controlling, Xbox Live. Like, no. I haven't had that issue, so it can't be that big because I really haven't seen any issue.
Yeah.
But people are reporting issues. Shut up.
Well, yeah. Well, guys, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about we were talking about games being released broken and people defending games because they're on their platform of their choice, and that doesn't make sense. And so that happens here too, with regards to services. And I think, look, it's okay to admit there's an issue when something's down, but I don't get the back and forth of comparing what service is up, what service is down, how many times it's up, how many times it's down. Frankly, I don't even have time in the day to even pay attention to that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like, who cares? It's not going to fix it.
It's not going to fix it. But do you guys? Let me ask you. Do you guys feel like and I'm going to talk about Xbox here because my Xbox Live days go back to 2002 as a beta tester, but I kind of feel like this generation has been more downtime than we've seen in previous versions or previous generations of Xbox Live.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if that's if that's an issue related to them migrating to newer servers, and it's kind of rolling out in phases, or if perhaps some of the more recent, if this DDoS thing isn't true, if some of the more recent issues have to do with some of the new Windows 10 integration that's going to be coming with Xbox Live. So what do you guys think? Do you guys feel like, Lemieux, I'll throw this out to you real quick because you were a beta tester. Do you feel like compared to the last, the Xbox, the OG Xbox, and the 360, that Xbox Live has maybe experienced a little more issues this console gen?
It has definitely experienced more issues this gen. I don't very many issues at all. 60, maybe one or two. Before that, the beta, I don't remember any issues on the. Granted, that was a small. That seems smooth as butter.
Yeah. What about you, Eric? Man, what do you think compared to, again, your Xbox Live compared to last generation before?
Oh no, definitely. There's definitely more hiccups along the way, but I also think it's because we're a lot further along than we were last generation. You know, as far as being under that microscope, gaming's under a bigger microscope than it's ever been.
Yeah, it's true. Social media.
You know, and if I can just quote a movie, if I could take that moment, you remember like in what was it, the Dark Knight, when Alfred says to Bruce Wayne, you know, some men just want to watch the world burn. Makes no rhyme or reason. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
People just do dumb shit. You know, just do things. It's like,
yeah.
you know, I can understand doing things like this for a cause, but you know, if it is a DDoS attack, it's sort of like, why? What's the
why?
reason? You know?
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I don't get it either. I don't know why they would do something like that. It just, you're right. It's like that quote says. You know, some people just want to watch the world burn. Mm-hmm. So.
And I know they say a part of it is, you know, they're trying to expose, you know, the weaknesses in their systems, and things like that, and it's sort of like, okay, so yeah, shit on the rest of us to prove your point. You know, but mm-hmm. I want to kind of look at it from this angle too. We typically bitch about the days that it's down, but we don't praise when it's up. Because you imagine these guys get attacked every day, all the time. You know, so if one gets past the goalie, it happens. It's gonna happen. It sucks, you know, but it shouldn't be that thing where this shouldn't happen. We pay for this. That's hard shit to keep going, to keep up all the time. You know, things can happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at any technology. I mean, that's the downside to being connected to technology, connected to the internet 24/7. That you can mm-hmm. go down, and that could potentially happen. And
happens on, dude. It's happened on my iPhone, mm-hmm. where you know, like iMessaging or something like that. Like it's screwy. You know, it's happened when I've had Android devices.
Well, Eric, that's because it's Apple, man.
But I've had Android devices where things, you know, I've had Gmail go down, you know, for a couple hours. Just things happen, man. But you got to think about the days and how often these guys are fighting, you know, people trying to do this stuff, and they're keeping them out of the system. So
yeah, no, that's a great point. You know, and you would just gotta hope that, you know, these things don't happen a lot, and that they try to iron these issues out. And I think they are. I mean, obviously, they've came out and made a comment, apologized for there being issues. Mm-hmm. You know, so we'll see what happens. I know a lot of people were kind of upset they couldn't access Netflix too, and I think that's something you got to fix. I mean,
shit, all bets are off now, man. Shit, what are you talking about? Can't watch Netflix.
I know, right? But no, but like, you know, if you know, Netflix shouldn't be something that you can't access if Live is having issues. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because you can, if you can access Netflix on your computer's connected to your internet, your Xbox is still connected to the internet, still talking to the internet. There shouldn't be any reason why you can't connect to Netflix or those kind of services. And I think that's something that they hopefully they address, they change at some point. So,
yeah, you remember when I tweeted at you yesterday? I said, you know, screw all this online stuff. I'm going to go read a book.
Yeah,
part of that was true, man. I was like, you know what, man? Maybe it's good to unplug for a minute. You know, I'm just gonna shut all this stuff down.
I also remember you saying that you were gonna hop offline and play, plug in your was it your Dreamcast or your yeah. Well,
still going strong, man.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, speaking of internet and technology, some other related news. PlayStation is going to be doing another preview beta for some of the new updates that they're going to be doing rolling out for the console. They really haven't announced anything specific just yet and what they're rolling out. But let me ask you something, guys. We're all PlayStation 4 owners here. What do you guys want to see them implement? Like, what's the next big update or thing that you want to see them bring to the PlayStation 4?
Okay, I'll go first if possible.
Yeah, go first, man. Go for it.
Just to take off, and who knows when my connection's. You still there?
Yep.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay,
I didn't hear what you said. That last part, Lemieux. To take off is what the last thing I heard.
because I need to take off. Connection's gonna cut out again.
Oh, you got to take off.
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You got to head out, man.
So-
Okay.
Real quick, they need to be able to change your then name,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and they you when friends are coming online,
Notify you when friends are online.
and that's it. And on that note, I gotta go.
All right,
It's
Lemieux.
It's been
Later,
real.
Lemieux.
Sorry for the troubles. I'll try to get that ironed out for next time.
Pay your
No
bills,
problem,
man.
All right.
All right, Lemieux. Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it. Hey, Eric. So he mentioned two things that that I'd like to see them implement.
Yeah.
What about you,
Yeah.
man?
Well, one of my number one, Digital Falcon just mentioned it, offline mode.
Yeah.
That's one of the tops for me, and then definitely, yeah, the ability to change your name.
Yeah. Why don't we have that yet? It's like,
I'm telling you, I think it's one of those things that it's on a back end architectural thing.
That's what I
It
think, too.
Must be locked on some kind of must be locked into some server, or locked into some interface that they can't figure out a way. But that excuse that what was it, Sean Layton gave us? Well, we don't want people, trolling and jumping in and out of games and changing it. Nope, that's not going to do it, dude.
yeah, he's
That excuse is not going to work. Sorry.
that excuse is not going to work. And look, your
Trolling?
Yeah, that's has nothing to do with trolling. And look, your competitor can do it. Microsoft's done it. Excuse me, already.
I did it, man. I mean, I was tripping. I changed, some EC Jackson on Twitter. I kind of wanted everything to be, especially in this day and age when we're streaming and we're doing
Yeah,
different things. You
be
kind of want that
uniformed.
name to be across the board. Because I used to be Spider E27 after Spider-Man, my favorite character. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, Spider E27 is dead. It's EC Jackson now. A couple of seconds on Xbox Live, I was done. Switched. Spider E27 was no more. EC Jackson arose.
Mm-hmm.
But on PlayStation 4, I'm still Daddy's Home 247, a name that I picked because that was like an inside joke with some buddies of mine, and I can't change it.
Yeah, and
I want to.
yeah, they need to change. They should give us the option to change it. But I think you're right, Eric. I think it isn't just about, as Sean Layden so eloquently put it, trolling. We want people trolling. But look, and even if they're worried about trolling, you could still do something like Steam does. I think Steam, with Steam, you can actually change your not your username, but the name that people see on Steam. Like, you still have to sign in with your actual username, but then you can change you can have a like an online screen name.
Right.
They could do that. I mean, well, maybe they can't do it. I mean, I'm just assuming that they can, but I don't see why they can't do this. But I think you're right, Eric. I think
Hopefully it's coming.
Well, I hope so too. But I think, to your point, it has something to do with something on the back end. Like, somehow your name is connected to something that if they change it, will mess up your, possibly cause you to lose your trophies, or mess up something there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be something like on the back end, why they can't do it.
Right.
But
And then on a security level, I would like them to implement 2-pass verification.
yeah, that would be nice too,
To
have that option. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
In this
agree.
day and age, I mean, those are things that you have to have. So yeah. So I hope that some of these features are coming. What about you? What do you want to see?
I pretty much that. That's pretty much it, man. The friend notification, the ability to change my PlayStation ID. That's pretty much it, man. I can't think of anything else, because I really do like some of the other features they recently added. I think the YouTube streaming thing was big. I love that feature. That was an awesome feature.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't think of anything else. To be honest with you, I think those small tweaks would go a long way for me. Because other than that, I really don't have any complaints with regards to the user interface. I think the UI is pretty streamlined. It's streamlined pretty well.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty easy to access your content, and everything is just easy to find. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, actually, there is another feature, the ability to do your own theme in the background.
Yes,
We have
yeah,
that on
yeah,
the PS3.
customized.
Kind
Yeah,
of like that on the PS4.
yeah, that's a good
Again,
point.
that's not a deal-breaking feature, but it would be nice to have that in there.
Yeah.
Other than the themes that they have available for you, it'd be nice to do your own thing.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
You know.
I agree. I definitely agree. So, well, we have some other gaming related news, Eric. We have a big event coming up at the end of the week that we're going to talk about um, on Thursday in the green room, which is appropriate, I think, because Microsoft's having their Microsoft Win 10 / Xbox conference.
Right.
So that's coming up. I'm assuming we'll learn more about their plans for this ecosystem, for this Windows 10 integration, and hopefully they come out and really kind of lay out the vision, because I think there's still a lot of people out there that are a little confused or have some questions.
Right. But I think the one thing we can agree on is we can't say for sure whether they will or not, because I
No, we
think
can't.
the consensus in the community has been, the messaging has been horrible, been jacked.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not completely ready to throw a stone at them for anything like that. It's like, I think, if you're gonna say, you're a Microsoft fan and you have, you believe in what they're doing, you believe in the company, give them a little more grace. Let's see what they say. Hopefully, they have some announcements on, Thursday that can kind of lay out what they want to do. I don't know that's something they can wait until E3 to really kind of get ahead of. Because that would be like the next biggest event for them, right?
Yeah, it would be. It would be
Yeah.
E3. So we'll talk about that Thursday in the green room. That should be a great podcast, because I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about. Two things are going to happen. Twitter's going to melt,
True.
or people are going to or people are going to be relieved, maybe. so I'm sure
I'm gonna sit somewhere in between.
you're going to sit somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between the meltdown and the okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean,
man.
as far as people go, I mean, dude, I don't know. I think we talked about this. Maybe I'm broken. I don't know. I don't have the meltdown thing. I think the most upset I got with Microsoft was when they initially announced the Xbox One, and then they initially announced the things that were going on. Again, yes, I'm bringing it up. Kill me. I was kind of like, I was like, you were given the playbook on what not to do and what not to say by Sony last generation, and you went and kind of did the same thing. And I think at that point that was kind of like, no, what are you doing? And I think that's the maddest I ever got. And then after that, I was like, okay, it is what it is. Maybe I just have other shit going on, like with life.
Yeah, that's
I don't
right.
know. So
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I
Man.
love gaming, man. Gaming's like the passion. Gaming is the way of life. But I don't know. You know what, Enrique? You're a sports fan, so maybe you get this too. Do you still have that investment in your sports teams where if you're in a championship or the finals or something happens, like you lose sleep because they lost it?
No.
You had that at one point though, right?
Yeah, when I was younger, but
All of a sudden, maybe it's because we're old. I don't know what it is.
I can't do that.
But I
Yeah.
can't say that either, because there's dudes our age who are on Twitter leading this shit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely, yeah.
But I used to, man, dude, the Heat, when what was it? The first year LeBron was here and we lost to Dallas. Mm-hmm. I lost sleep.
Oh man.
Like I was like ill, and I was like, that's it, man. I can't do this anymore. Why am I so invested in that?
Yeah.
And I still get upset. I scream. I get mad. Dude. I'm a Dolphin fan. You know how that goes.
Oh, I'm a Redskins fan, man. So,
So yeah, you're in the
I feel
same boat.
Yeah, I feel your pain, man.
Yeah, so I know people make the same analogy when it comes to gaming. It's like rooting for your favorite sports team. So again, maybe we're in that same position where we're like, we get it. It's not that we're happy about everything that happens, but at the same time, you put it in perspective.
Yeah, that's true. Hey,
You know,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on something real quick in the chat room. So I didn't know this, but apparently Major Nelson tweeted that, and this is per Fastback 247. And Fastback, thanks for sharing this, man. We appreciate it because I wasn't aware of this, but there's not going to be a stream of this event, and we're not going to have any news apparently till March 1st.
I just saw that too.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks, Fastback.
Yeah. So that's that was tweeted by Major Nelson. That's interesting. Like we're not going to. So I guess we're not going to be talking about that on the green room on Thursday. We'll probably just be. I think we should probably maybe expand a little bit more on what we think they might talk about. In terms of what games they might show, and then the announcements they might make. But I think that's interesting that they're not going to really release any official news till March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. Oh man, that worries me, Eric. Am I worrying about this too much? It makes me think a little bit. Like, wait a minute.
No, I don't think you're wrong to worry about it at all. I mean, none of us. You just kind of want to know where things are going to go. But I'm not worried in the terms of what's going to be on Xbox One and then going to PC. That's not what I'm worried about.
No, I'm not worried about that either. I'm just
more in terms of what it means for the box itself going forward.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great point, man. So
I want to see another Xbox come around, but right now, I know Phil Spencer said there would absolutely be another one, but I would probably argue that some fans right now probably don't believe everything.
No.
No,
there's definitely a group of fans out there that don't believe what they're hearing now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm raising an eyebrow here because I'm kind of surprised that they're not releasing. And did they didn't do this last year, did they? I knew they had an event last year, but did they release news the day of the event, or did they wait?
No, I think last year they announced the news of it, but this is the first hearing that we won't get any information or news until March 1st. They're not streaming it or anything.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know why. That's really interesting.
Yeah, because I found that interesting. I said usually by now we kind of know where we can see it.
That's true. That's a good point.
So that explains it. That explains why we didn't get that information. So again, that's another strange move for them. Fastback says there will be another generation of Xbox, and I'm inclined to agree with him. But again, I'm going to stand by the fact that I think there will be another one. We just don't know what it will be in terms of what the actual box will bring. Will they remove the physical disc? Will they, kind of do more of a set-top box that streams, Or maybe not the next version of the Xbox, but maybe the one after that, Because maybe that might be too drastic of a leap. So.
Yeah. So, I think there's gonna be another box, for sure. Yeah, I don't see that not happening anytime soon. But I just find all this interesting. So,
I just saw too. Gears of War Ultimate Edition PC requirements have leaked.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That did leak. Yeah.
So that's I guess, man. That's the plan.
Well, I think no one should be surprised by that. I mean, I think everything. No, yeah, this is where this stuff's going. So, real quick, Eric, man, before we wrap up here, we didn't get a chance to talk about The Legend of Zelda, which turned 30. Well, I think we should definitely. I don't know, man. What do you think? We should. I think we should definitely revisit that. Maybe next Tuesday.
Yeah.
But at least want to kind of acknowledge that franchise turned 30 years old last week, and that's, geez. I mean, I played the original Zelda in 1987 when it came to the U.S. and when I heard 30, I'm like, wow. That's I was 10 years old when I played it for the first time, and I'm not going to talk about it too much right now, but. Other than Eric, that game really laid the groundwork for a lot of other action adventure RPG games.
Mm-hmm.
So
and people can say what they want. The games that we have now were not the first open world games.
No, they weren't, and that's a great point, Eric. That is such a great point because they weren't. Zelda was.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the ability to go back, and there's ways you can. I'm not going to say how you can do it, but you can play Zelda. I mean, I have it,
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, it really is. And I want to share one quick story. I remember this is before game guides came out. We were actually taking graphing paper making maps.
That's the way to do it, man.
Yeah,
That was how you did it.
that's how you did it because that it was such, because everything up to that point was, you were in a 2D, you were a side scroller, 2D side scroll. This was a
Mm-hmm.
top down game, and you're right. It was like the first open world game, and you had to explore caves, and you had to travel using your little flute. Remember that?
Yep.
So
Yeah. It's like the first, well, maybe not as difficult, like the first Dark Souls. Like you could go to an area and be like, nope, not ready for this area yet.
yeah.
You know?
So I want to ask everyone in the chat real quick, before we wrap up. What is your favorite Zelda game? And Eric, what out of all the Zelda games that you've played, what's your favorite?
I'm going to sound completely cliche and I'm going to have to say Ocarina of Time.
You know what?
That was the one that just turned it on its ear. I
Yeah.
mean, from the music, just the
Yes.
adventure of it. And then I'm going to reverse that and kind of go back to A Link to the Past.
What about Majora's Mask?
You know what's funny? Majora's Mask, I played it on N64, I beat it. Wasn't my favorite at the time because I think it was too close to Ocarina.
Mm-hmm.
But end of last year, I replayed it on the 3DS. It shot up to definitely higher on my list of favorites. That game is insane.
Yeah, it
There's
was a
some
great.
crazy stuff going on in that game.
It was a great game, and
Yeah.
and the Zelda franchise, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I think for me, the impressive part and what really impressed me about those games was that it was that transition period from 2D to 3D,
Right.
and so we got to experience Zelda in a completely different new way. Um, but for me, I'm going to go with the first Zelda.
First
And,
Zelda?
yeah, and I'll tell you why, because nothing had been done like that, and it was such an amazing game for its time. To me, it was ahead of its time in
Oh,
1987.
hands down.
Yeah, if you think about what we were playing up until that point, I mean, it was such a phenomenal game. And hey, who doesn't remember the gold cartridge?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I don't
But
either.
I don't even have my Ocarina N64
Mm-hmm.
cartridge anymore. But stupid me, I got rid of a lot of that stuff. But no, A Link Between Worlds is good too. I know that's like a remake of A Link to the Past,
Mm-hmm.
but on the 3DS, man, that game's awesome.
That game's awesome. Yeah.
I know we
I-
weren't supposed to go deep into Zelda, but
I know, but it's hard not to because it's such a
Yeah.
great franchise, and we Nintendo teased us a couple E3s ago with that new Zelda, and
Yeah.
I was floored, man. I was like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for, Nintendo, and we didn't get it this generation. I think we'll get it with the new Nintendo NX, but
Well, I mean, they keep saying that it's coming to the Wii U, but I definitely see that being a GameCube to Wii scenario, like they did.
yes,
With,
yes,
yeah. So, why am I drawing a blank on the game? I was just looking at it earlier. Twilight Princess.
yeah.
Where they shipped it on GameCube, and then of course it came, to Wii. I think that's going to happen again. I just don't see if NX is indeed going to launch this year, which I don't know. We're kind of late in the year. If they're really going to be launching a new console, by now you would have heard something about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the install base that they have of the Wii U, I think it's a no-brainer that you're going to see it on the NX. Probably with something added to it for that crowd, So that's just
Yeah.
my prediction.
Looks like the popular Zelda. Someone Fastback mentioned Zelda 2. I'm assuming that's the Adventure of Link.
Zelda 2, yeah.
Yeah, Justin Lewis mentioned Zelda Link to the Past. Someone else mentioned Zelda Link to the Past. I'm going to go out and say that one of the best looking Zelda games was Wind Waker, and
Oh man,
And- that game got so much shit when Nintendo
Yes.
first showed it because of the cell shaded effects
Yep.
and that it was a younger looking Link. But that game was just
And yeah.
all beautiful,
And
awesome.
you know what, Enrique? I wasn't one of those people. When I saw that, I was like, "Holy crap, that looks awesome!"
Yeah, me too.
I said, "It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon."
It does. It was great. It was such.
Yeah.
It's in my opinion, it's the visually it's the best up until this point. Up until they showed the last Zelda, in my opinion, the best looking, most creative looking Zelda game that they put out.
Yeah, you should see the remaster running on the Wii U, man.
Oh man, don't tell me
It's
that.
it's amazing, dude. And
I
the
bet.
funny thing is, that game had the last laugh because out of all the games, it's the one that has held its look the best. It's aged really well,
It's
and
aged
that's why they
well.
were able to bring it to the Wii U. You know, make it HD. You know, they changed the aspect ratio. They fixed some of the things that people complained about. I played it. I played through it like right before my daughter was born, in August 2014, and yeah, dude, I was just like, I was all in. You know, I love that game.
Justin
The
said I
game's
can't.
awesome, man.
Yeah, it is. Justin said I can't wait to play Zelda on my Xbox One.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen, bro.
No, it's probably not going to happen. Probably not
No.
going to happen. But yeah, I know we were going to try to save Zelda, and I think we should probably go back because we can definitely talk about Zelda more and the franchise, the impact it's had on the industry. But you know, let's save that for another podcast. You know,
Yeah,
so.
because like I said, yeah, we can go another hour on that, man. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
save
we
it.
could definitely, yeah, we could definitely could, man, no
You
doubt.
got me
So,
going on that one.
yeah, well, I try not to, but then as you start talking about it, and I started reminiscing about just my experiences early on as a gamer. I mean, just such a great experience, such a great franchise. So, um, well, Eric, unless you have any other news or gaming related things you want to talk about,
Well, always, but we need to end at some point. But we'll pick it up again.
exactly, exactly. So, hey, Eric, I want to say thank you again, man, for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. I really do.
No problem, man.
And everyone, you definitely check out EXL Gaming, exlgaming.com. It's a great gaming website, and check out their podcast too. They do a developer roundtable, which is just awesome. So definitely love what you guys are doing over there, Eric.
Thanks, man.
And
Really do appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely, man. If you guys want to give Eric a follow, you can follow him at EC Jackson. That's ECJAXSON. You can follow him on Twitter. And hey, Lemieux66, or Brian as I know him, thank you for joining us tonight, man. Definitely appreciate it. You can follow him on Twitter as well at Lemieux. That's LEMIEUX 66. And you can give me a follow as well on Twitter at Aries Gamer. That's AREEZGAMER. And hey, definitely give us a like and subscribe to our channel as well. And we're definitely growing. I want to thank all the new subscribers this week. We had a giveaway for a free digital copy of Unraveled, and we had a winner. His name's Chris, and congratulations to you, Chris, for being our first winner of a digital copy giveaway.
Yeah,
He was
congrats, man.
Yeah, he was a new subscriber. So, and thank you for everyone who subscribed the other day when we were doing that. And Eric, thank you for correcting me. I was calling you Yarny.
Yeah,
And
there's no problem, man.
I actually did that because, and it was funny, I was thinking about it because my 6-year-old he doesn't call it Unravel, he calls it Yarny. He's like, where's Yarny at?
Actually, there have been people that said they should have called that game Yarny.
Yeah. Why?
People
I
would have
think,
identified with that a lot better.
yeah, that makes sense because I think I kind of identify with the game as Yarny. So
Yeah, and actually, I didn't. When you first said it, I was kind of like, "Oh wait, no, it's Unravel," because Yarny sounds so organic.
yeah,
You know?
it does.
So,
It
I gotta
really
play
does.
that. I definitely have to play that.
Yeah, it's a good game. I really enjoyed it. I got to play. No, I didn't buy it just yet. I did play the the preview on EA Access. But what I played was really good, and actually I have a video of that up on the Basement Radio Arcade channel. So for those of you guys who are listening, want to take a look at Unraveled, we have that posted up as well. So definitely check that out. But yeah, thank you again, Eric, and thank you to everyone in the live chat that joined us tonight, and to
Yeah, thanks, guys.
everyone who took the time to view us live tonight, and for those who are gonna view the podcast once we get it up on YouTube. Thank you, and again, guys, remember to give us a like and subscribe to our channel as well, as we look to bring more gaming content to you all. So other than that, we will catch you all later. We'll be back for our general, what I call our general Basement Radio Arcade podcast on next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we'll be doing our more Xbox centric podcast, The Green Room, this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. So other than that, guys, we will catch you soon. And guys, remember to game on, but more importantly, have fun gaming. Peace.
Yeah, one love.
Exactly. One love.
Good night, everybody.